who do you have to obey? Like, I can understand disciplining my child because it's like, it's a child.
You have to obey your child.
Develop. Why do I have to obey a man just because he's a man? Like, I'm a grown adult.
This debate gets heated fast as Andrew Wilson faces off with a triggered feminist who absolutely explodes mid-discussion. Andrew Wilson stands firm on his beliefs about obedience, voting, and traditional roles while pushing back hard against emotional arguments. The feminist tries to drag Andrew Wilson into straw man attacks and historical revisionism, but Andrew Wilson doesn't back down and ends up exposing the flaws in her worldview.
You don't have to get married. Yeah, you don't have to get married. And here's the thing. If you don't want to obey a man, don't get married. That's fine. Who's telling you to get married? Nobody's telling you to get married.
But who said we want to get married? Like, you guys are the ones that think that we want to get married.
That's because every poll we have shows that women, especially in their 30s and 40s, really want to get married.
Who?
Who what? You can look it up on Pew Research right now. What do you mean?
Pakistan, there was a study that was done that there's so many women. I think there's about like 35 to 45% of women that are over the age of 35 that are not married. Even in a regressive Islamic society, women are saying, no, we don't want to get married and submit to a husband with no divorce and tie up to the kids. Like,
nobody said, okay, do you understand? Did you understand that when you say that I'm taking some Islamic position on society, that you're straw manning my position? Stop. That you're straw manning my position on society. That's not what I said. And I knew that you would do the whole, he wants to be like the Taliban. It's like, it's such a straw man bullshit argument. I just gave you good empirical evidence and data showing that how women and them having the right to vote has led to societal decadence and desiccation and corrosion.
Okay, this is where Andrew Wilson just goes nuclear. Like, seriously, he dropped the bomb here. And instead of debating his point, the triggered feminist just flipped out again. I mean, if Andrew Wilson is wrong, show the data, but she couldn't. She just exploded emotionally instead. And honestly, that reaction kind of proves Andrew Wilson's point. Like, if voting is emotional instead of rational, we're in trouble.
And I'll give you a deal. Okay, let me ask you right now.
Keep blaming women for everything. Mm-hmm. Oh, the transgender. Oh, this problem, that problem. Aren't there men in the politics? What about the men?
I'm sorry. Which gender overwhelmingly votes for it? Which gender overwhelmingly votes Democrat, man or woman?
I don't care, men or women. Isn't there?
Yeah. Can you answer my question, please? Can you answer my question, please? Can you answer my question, please?
Even if it is women, what about the men?
What about them? What about the men, though?
And I will tell you why.
Okay.
I will tell you why more women are going to vote for conservative. Because your religion is a part of the whole conservative thing. And religion doesn't matter your religion, doesn't matter Islam, doesn't matter any freaking religion, especially the Abrahamic religions, give no rights to women. That's why we don't have religion and state. Till we had religion in the state, women had no right. That's why Pakistan has no right, because they cannot separate religion and state. This is exactly, I've lived what you want to go back.
No, you haven't lived what I want to go back to. Listen, the early United States was nothing like modern Pakistan. You're lying through your teeth.
All right, we do have
Would you stop? Yeah, would you stop shrilly spurging femoid and just listen for 2 seconds?
Andrew, hold on. I do have to just restore a little bit of order. And we'll break it into 30 seconds or so. So 30 seconds back and forth for each of you to make your points or ask your questions. Malish, the floor is yours for 30 seconds. I've got the timer set.
Okay, my whole point is that whatever you're saying, and you want to go back to women being at home, women being the duty, submitting, all this, women not having any right to property, no right to anything. We have countries like this. And I know how women feel up there. You know, my whole point is it doesn't matter what religion you're coming from, and you're a conservative, and you bring God and everything into it. Automatically, my rights are taken right away. You can't compare gun rights to me. I'm a human being. Before I'm a woman, you men have to understand that I'm a human being. If you're allowed to vote, why am I not allowed to vote? Just why? Why? Because you have a privilege, because you're born with certain genitalia. Thank you.
That was 30 seconds. We'll kick it over to Andrew.
Okay, so again, Early America didn't look anything like modern Islamic Pakistan. You liar. You're lying through your teeth. Look nothing like it. That's one. Women weren't required to have burqas. They weren't required to go drag their feet at church 3 times a day. They weren't required to be accompanied by a man when they walk down the road. That is completely false. All of that is false. That's one. The second thing is, when you dive into this, all we have to do is look at the outcomes. They've been pretty terrible. You say, why is it that men should have the right to vote and not women? First of all, rights are fictitious. They don't exist absent your mind. The only rights you have are the ones men give you anyway.
Yeah, this part is tough for people to hear. But what Andrew Wilson said isn't wrong. Throughout history, it's been men who've had the power to enforce or protect rights. So when Andrew Wilson says rights don't exist unless someone's willing to protect them, he's not being mean, he's being real. But again, the triggered feminist exploded like she's allergic to facts. Andrew Wilson is just pointing to reality, and she can't handle it.
You know how I know that? Because I can point at your country of Pakistan, and if they say you ain't got no rights, lady, you can't do shit about it. Can you do anything about it? Can Pakistani women do shit about it except appeal to other men to go? Can I ask the question, James? I got to ask the question. Can Pakistani women go appeal to anybody other than men for their rights in Pakistan? No.
Malik, the floor is yours.
And that's exactly what my point is. The monopoly has always been there. It's always been the control. And the only thing men can get on us is the physical control.
That's all we need.
See, don't interrupt me. It's because they're
interrupt me, please.
Obviously stronger than us. So that's how they're going to control us. Right? But then again, I'm going to have to ask you, like, is that moral? Because you're, the man of God. Is that moral what they're doing to women up there? Is it moral for them to be doing that? For their religion, it is. But is it moral for you? Okay, and then you went back like 100 years ago. Wasn't it 100 years ago we were burning women here as witches?
No, we weren't. You're lying again.
No, we were burning women as witches up here. They did not have rights. They did not have 30 property.
Seconds.
Thank you. And please don't interrupt me when I'm talking.
Yeah, no, 100 years ago, lady, we were not burning women as witches. I don't know. How long do you think 100 years ago was? 100 years ago, it was 1925, right? Do you think we were burning women as witches in 1925, you ignoramus? On top of that, if we decode all of your crazy-ass nonsense, you say women have some ought to vote. What is that ought? There is no ought there. You just say, if you can, we should be able to. That's not a reason, though. Just saying we should because I want to is not a reason. If women generally make terrible decisions in the voting booth on behalf of society, you tell me why I should let you vote if we have the power to make it so you can't.
You know what? I do agree with you. We do make terrible decisions. All these alpha men, I don't know how their mothers made the decision to have them. I swear to God, that was a terrible decision to have them because now we have to sit here and listen to them, what is good for us and what is not. Like, I'm going to repeat myself. In Pakistan, and there is women up there, the women's right has increased. It has gotten a lot better than it was before. Same thing with your religion. You guys reformed. Okay, maybe it wasn't 100 ago, but back in the days, you were burning women as, like, don't lie to me that you didn't burn as witches. Right?
You're talking about Europe. That was a European thing.
30 seconds.
Good Lord.
No.
Oh, hold on 1 sec. Malik, you're on mute. If you're able to, we'll give you about 10 seconds to wrap up your question, Malik, if you wanted to ask.
No, I just want to know what society, if we were to start now, what society is good for you? What should women do just to please you men? So you men think the society will work better. What is your utopia? Thank you.
Yeah, so it's not a utopia. No one's saying it's a utopia. What we're asking for here is some type of limit on voting that makes sense. It wouldn't just be against women. Also, men at the founding of our nation couldn't vote equally with other men because they didn't have stake in the system. There's no good reason to give everybody stake in the system. It's an absurd position. On top of that, when you're talking about witches getting burned, you conveniently omit that male witches also got burned. This was not a gendered thing. If you were a witch, you got burned, male or female. You omit that too. You thought it was in 1925 because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Also, all right.
What we can do is we can bump these up to 1 minute because I knew 30 seconds is really brief. So if I remember right, we started with you, Malik. So this is the first one where we'll do 60 seconds. Malik, go ahead.
Listen, I don't care if it was 100 years ago, it was 200 years ago, whatever. As human beings, we've seen for like thousands, like hundreds of years. At least, like, I can speak for my religion, okay, which came out of your religion, Christianity, okay? The Abrahamic religion, since they started, it's copied after the other, okay? So I only can stick to, let's say, Islam. At least for 1400 years, women have not have had rights. This is the first time in 100 years that we're getting some sort of right. You're talking about voting. Why shouldn't I vote? Why should I not vote when I am a participant? I own a freaking property. I need to know what is happening in this community. I pay as much money. And then you brought up debt. If it's so bad for you, why is it like, why do you think I am not happy having debt? Like, the whole concept, I don't understand how you can make decisions for me, saying that it is not good for me. Debt is not good for me. You know, going to school is not good for me. The only thing good for me is finding a husband and having babies.
And time.
At the end of the day, this was a wild debate, and Andrew Wilson came in prepared. He had the data, the logic, and the patience to deal with constant emotional explosions. The triggered feminist never truly answered Andrew Wilson's main points and instead deflected or melted down every time she was challenged. Whether you agree with Andrew Wilson or not, you've got to admit, in this one, Andrew Wilson completely took control.